This is Jones into the area, who has been excellent in every facet. Here comes Louisville, as usual, pushing it in transition. Jones, nice find to Cochran. Parker got the rebound, and Jones,
night
of the night. And Jones swatting Parker.
Again, it's kind of a judgment call sometimes, how tight you do want to call it, as Jones sends it in.
kind of mimic the ACC games, mimic the NCAA first two rounds of the tournament. Nice move by Morgan Jones.
Jones taking a team-high 12 shots today. Kept that ball in the right hand all the way to the rack.
And another steal. Jones again looking to go the distance for the lay-in.
Now this trap right here, you got to move the ball. You get numbers on the backside, 3-on-2.
Jones attacks. Get Morgan Jones in the open floor to have potentially a big night. Off the double team. Jones tries to wrap it around and does. Into double digits here in the first half.
And there's a steal out front by Jones. And what a start this is for her.
And Morgan Jones making her defense create her offense. Like I said earlier, she's so long and lengthy.
And there's another steal by Jones. All the way to the rim herself. 13 points and 6 steals.
Welcome to episode 13. Hey man, we have an amazing guest. Hey, one of my personal favorite female players that I've had a wonderful opportunity to work with, my girl Morgan Jones. And listen, we're gonna talk about a lot of different things, so stay tuned. What's up, Morgan? How you doing?
What's up?
You chilling, man?
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Hey, thank you for coming. Hey, Morgan, listen, let's talk about, Morgan went to Lady of Mercy. Mm-hmm. You played 4 years there, right? Yeah. And then what got you into basketball? What was your motivation to play basketball?
So growing up, my parents, my brother and I, and pretty much every organized sport there was, and I kind of stuck with basketball just because I felt like I was able to use all my abilities. It was fun. It was indoors. I don't like outdoor sports. It's too hot. But that just kind of stuck with me. I watched it a lot growing up. My mom was a huge Lakers fan, so I grew up watching Lakers, Kobe, Derek Fisher, all of them. So I kind of just enjoyed, keeping up with them and just knowing that it's something I could do someday. Absolutely.
And Morgan, I don't remember what age your parents brought you to me, but you was kind of young. What was you, like 5th, 6th grade?
Definitely elementary school. I was a youngin', for sure.
Yeah, I remember when Morgan first came to me. I remember you had this length, right? The thing that I noticed that was really appealing to me that I said got a chance to be a special player was your length. Yep. And your shot. The technique was already there, but I think the thing that what I tried to help you with was taking different types of steps. So just kind of touch on the development process when you first came to us, and then how you develop into the player that you are.
Well, I was a little flimsy thing when I first came, but I mean, you helped me to understand the basics of basketball, the fundamentals, and I think that was very vital. To where I am now. I wouldn't be the player I am without that, so I'm very thankful for that. And ever since then, that gave me the building blocks to take off and do other things like certain moves, be creative with it. But I feel like it was a great foundation.
Absolutely. See, and the other thing, a lot of coaches and people out here, they develop and they train players, right? Yeah. It takes a village, you know what I'm saying? Brad did a great job with you as well. So she had, along with myself and Brad, I don't want to try to make it was just like it was Bo Bell, but myself and Brad, we kind of helped you develop those skills. But once you built that confidence, because I remember one time, it was almost like you had a lack of confidence. Yeah. And then your confidence spiked. So when did you really know that you had it in high school?
When I scored 51 points.
Jesus. You had 51 on.
I had 50. I don't even remember the score. It was our first game, my senior year, and I had 51 points. So I was like, man, I can't You can't guard me. But I don't know. Like I feel like in high school, so I tried out for USA basketball my junior year. Didn't make it. But I feel like I should have.
Right.
But obviously there's nothing I could have done about it. But I, used that to fuel me to get better. So I kind of had a chip on my shoulder ever since then, and I knew that I was still a great player regardless, and I was going to do it regardless. So ever since then, like I just had this, like I said, chip on my shoulder, and I just took off from there.
Absolutely. So Morgan, let me ask you this too. And this is a question I want you to talk to these young ladies, the young girls who have aspiration to play college basketball. What goes into that process, right? What is it that you have to have that's going to separate you, right, from the most? Because there's so many players that want to get those opportunities, and it's only so many universities.
Well, you just got to be dedicated. Obviously, we all don't have a certain plan of, nothing ever works out all the time as how we want it to. But I feel like if you just stay true to yourself, you pray about it, you have a plan, and you just stay focused on what you want, I feel like that can go a long way, because it's easy to get caught up in, different things and caught up in things that don't really help you for your future. So I feel like if you have a goal, you got to stick to it and, just be humble and just do your work.
See, that you just said a mouthful. Stay focused, right? Because what happens a lot of times, peer pressure, right? Your friends, like when they go left, you go right. And players that tends to make it to that level understand that, and I think that is huge, right?
Yeah, and I think another aspect is having self-confidence. I mean, a lot of times young people, including myself when I was younger, I used to compare myself a lot to other people, like, why does she get this? Why don't I get this? I work just as hard. But I feel like you just have to, be comfortable in your own race. You can't try to, compare yourself to somebody else because you're unique in your own way. So I think that's something that's very important.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you said that, Morgan, because what happens, a lot of players, they be watching these players, but they don't know the work that went into that work, that. And so when you make those comparisons, comparison is a thief of joy.
Definitely.
So you can't really enjoy the process. And so for you young players, stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish. It's kind of what Morgan was alluding to, right? It's like staying focused and staying locked in, and then before you know it, you're going to be in a certain place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's tell us about your recruiting process. Like once you really got hot, I remember when you was getting hot, all those colleges, man.
Man, that was crazy.
I was like, wow, she got everybody out there. Tell us about that college process, that whole process.
That was crazy. I haven't had my phone blown up that much ever in my life. But now it was very exciting just to know that, the hard work you've been putting in is paying off. Somebody sees it, knowing that you're on the right track. I was recruited by pretty much anyone you can think of. Had a lot of phone calls from coaches. My parents were overwhelmed. Every time I come after school, Mom was like, "You need to call so-and-so coach." I'm like, "Mom, I'm tired. Like, can I just go to sleep?" But no, it was very cool. It was a very, very cool experience. It was a bit overwhelming because I liked a lot of the coaches. I liked a lot of the schools, but you can only choose one.
Yes.
So that was the hardest part. But just knowing that coaches to this day, like, I'm still, like, if I see them, like, I'm pretty sure we could have a conversation just because of the relationship that we built throughout my process, knowing that they'll do anything for me. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it was hectic, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
So I got a question for you, Morgan, in relation to recruiting. And I know the answer to this, but I just want to have someone at your level explain this.
Yeah.
Once you're recruited, you're going to at least a top school, Power 5 school. What's your reason for continuing to play AAU, even though you've already been recruited?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like just if you're close to your teammates, you probably want to finish out the season. That's what I did. I was close to my team. I didn't just want to leave them hanging, but I just wanted to finish it out with my friends that are still my friends to this day. And I feel like that just means a lot, and it shows a lot about your loyalty and your dedication to the team.
And it speaks volume about your character and the type of person that you are.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about being a good basketball player, it's about being a good person.
Yeah.
Because that ball is going to stop bouncing one day. And
For
so
sure. I already know.
It's going to stop bouncing. But I want to say this too, and I never told you or your parents. Typically, when I'm working with players, people know the college coaches they know. So I was getting calls too, and they was asking me about your character, what kind of person you was, and all of that. So I was getting those calls too, and I was laying it on. I said, look, it couldn't be a better person. And I wasn't telling the story, it couldn't be a better person. I said, take her.
I appreciate that.
Everybody I talked to,
Yeah.
I said, take her.
Yeah.
Because you can't miss. She can do it all. And that's what, she's a professional. Because you got professional high school players, you got professional middle school players, you got professional college players. Some players are pros, but they're not professionals.
Yeah.
Just because you make money, that means you're a professional.
Yeah.
But you always
That's
been a
facts.
professional. Like you showed up today for this meeting, right? We asked you to be at 11 o'clock, usually at 10:30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so in your mind, if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole
To
different.
be early is to be on time.
That's right. And so that's a whole different process. Young people, listen, be the first one in and the last one leave. That's that edge that you have to have. So Morgan, let's talk about, okay, so you chose Florida State.
Yeah.
And what was your reasoning? What was your reason? Why did Florida State, man, you had everybody. I'm like, God, dude, all these schools, I'm looking at all these schools and they calling me. I'm like, what was your reasoning?
Florida State just seemed like the perfect fit. Obviously that Florida weather is pretty nice. I just like the atmosphere. Like the coaches, they just made it feel like home. I know that's cliche, but they really did make it feel like home away from home. I knew that I was in good hands. I knew that was a program where I could really grow. In the freshman class, incoming class we had coming in, I knew we could really be something special. So I really wanted to be a part of that, and I just wanted to help take that program to the next level.
Wow. You had an amazing career there.
I did.
You did really good. Every time I watched, every time you make a shot, I was like, she did it. And then some of the stuff before you did it, I know you was gonna do it. That's the weirdest thing. But it was just so much fun to watch you play when you was at Florida State. And then you transferred, you decided to do a 5th year and go to Louisville, which you guys made it to the Elite Eight. So let's talk about that. Tell us about that.
Well, going to the Elite Eight is hard.
Yeah.
But I'll get into just the experience of transferring. I chose Louisville because that's a stellar program, hands down. The things that they've done with transfers and the things that they've done in the past, going to 4 Final Fours and just recruiting the best players. I want to be a part of that and just take my game to the next level. So that's why I chose Louisville. So yeah, the season that we had, it started off rocky kind of because I think we were still trying to figure out like what works, what didn't work, and things like that. And eventually, like it got to a point where we just had to, just say like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. So got to that point, made it to the AC championship. We lost to Virginia Tech, but we knew we had more in us. So we went to the NCAA tournament, made it all the way to Elite Eight when people didn't even think we were going to make it past the first round. So that was pretty cool, and just playing in front of all those fans, it was second to none. Like,
wow.
I know we had a lot of fans at the Yum Center where we played at. We averaged like around like 9,000. So that was amazing, amazing experience. I'll never forget it. But the NCAA tournament game, the Elite Eight, that was.
It's tough.
It was amazing.
Well, let me ask you this, Morgan, and then I want you to talk, speak to the young people that's up and coming, not just females, but male basketball players.
Yeah.
How important it is to be coachable, and what I mean by that, a lot of players, especially like young players, they have a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
You understand? And so when they get heavily coached, they tend to take it as a negative.
Yeah.
As opposed to accepting it as constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So how important, and how do you deal with that? Because you're going to have different coaches that's going to scream at you, that's going to holler at you, and sometimes it's almost seems like they're degrading you.
Yeah.
But then you still have to perform. So explain to parents and players, especially our younger players and the parents, how important it is to just stay focused and control the things that you can control so that you can maximize your potential.
There's a verse in the Bible. It talks about only a fool hates being corrected. So I feel like in order to grow, you can't think you know it all because there's always room for growth. And I feel like even if you think you have it all down, nobody ever does. Yeah. And I feel like taking advice from a coach that sees it from a different perspective is always good because from your perspective you might have this dad in the bag, but obviously they're going to see something that you can always improve on, and that's their job as a coach. Like, you're supposed to help people and not let them just stay, stagnant. So I feel like you just have to know that people are trying to help. Don't try to take it as a form of negativity right off the bat. You got to be slow to speak and quick to listen. So I feel like, you know, you just have to take that criticism and just try to apply it, whether you agree or not. I think that you can just try to, you know, find a way to just use their words to elevate you, no matter what it may look like.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of times, especially our younger players, and I don't want you to talk on them. The reason I'm talking about that, because I want players that where you was to understand that in order to get to that level, there are certain things that you have to be able to do. You got to be coachable, right? You got to be a team player, and you got to be a good listener. Not listening to respond, but listening to learn. Right, and that's what you have always been since I've known you, and so I'm just so happy that you understand the things that you understand, and you're giving these kids and parents a lot of very valuable information. So now, you guys, let's go back to this real quick. You guys went to the Elite Eight. You had a chance to play against the girl Caitlin Clark. So tell me, Caitlin Clark, tell me what that was like. What was that like, man? Because look, now I'm gonna tell you. Now, me and Bert already talked about this girl. She is the close. She's like Steph Curry. Man. She the closest thing I've seen, female and male, to Steph Curry.
All I'm saying is believe the hype, because it's true. That girl is nice. Like, I mean, we all knew going in that how she was, like how she could easily score 30, like easily on any night. But like, that girl couldn't miss, and she's just so smart. Like, I know that I respect her a lot, because you know that takes hard work. Like, how she is didn't just happen overnight. So she definitely worked at it, and I applaud her. I mean, she had a really good game that game, and she really had a good season and good tournament. So playing against her was pretty awesome to see that up close.
So when you had to guard her, right? What was? Did she score on you?
She scored one shot on me, but it was contested. Like, that's how I knew. I was like, all right, you really like that. Like, I mean, I had hands in her face, like giving her enough space just in case she drives, you know, like. But it was contested shot. She just launched it. I'm like, wow, like. But my thing is, like, I thought I contested it. I'm like, okay, it must not be going in, because, like, you know, I had a hand in her face. I turned around, swish. I said, yo, but
you can't guard people 40 feet from the basket.
Man, but other than that, like, I think I contained her pretty well. I knew my length would have been a problem for her. Right. You know, just getting up in her grill, but it forced her to pass the ball. But her teammates were also like outside shooters, so it was kind of hard to stop all that. But I mean, credit to them. They had a good game, and Caitlin's a great player.
Wow, that's awesome. So, in terms of who do you think is the best player in college basketball? That's been a debate. And you tell me from your opinion, because a lot of times when you want to know about another player, you ask another player. You don't ask the media, you ask another player. Just like kids. If you want to know how good another kid is, I don't ask nobody, I ask the kids. What do you think about this player?
From what I've seen and what I've played against, definitely Caitlin Clark. I mean, this girl was unstoppable. I mean, she does it on a nightly basis. Like, everybody tries to have a game plan against her. Somehow she still happens to have 30 plus. So I feel like that takes a lot of hard work to do, and I feel like it's not easy. And I really feel like she's definitely one of the best generational players we have right now.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And then after her, who would you think was the second best player?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to pull you.
That's tough.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Yeah, the second best player that you think that you've seen, because you've seen a lot of very.
I say Leah Boston, definitely.
Leah Boston.
Definitely, because I mean, she's an inside forward. She's gotten Player of the Year multiple years, and she's just been growing and growing. And I've never seen her have like a really off year ever. Every year she's gotten better, and I feel like she's definitely hard to stop, and she's definitely gonna be good at the next level.
And last but not least, who is your third? And why?
I see myself.
Hey,
there we go. Okay.
I would put myself
okay.
first, but I gotta be humble. But I don't know. I feel like I'm very versatile. I can do a lot. I feel like it's hard to stop me when I'm really going. I think I'm a great defender. I think I'm a good shooter. I just feel like I just have the total package.
And you really do, and that's a testament for all the work that you put in. I remember you came home, you was at Florida State, and we was working out so many things.
Yeah, during COVID, that was wild, man. That was a wild time.
That was tough, right?
Very tough.
But you used that time to your advantage, and we added stuff to your game.
Yeah,
with your feet, and kind of help you be a little bit more efficient. Because you got that length. Once you stretch out and get that thing up, I mean, like the way that you know somebody can really shoot. when the nets don't move.
Ooh.
You was one of those.
Yeah.
The ball just hit the net.
Nothing but net.
Nothing but nets.
No room. No room on net.
Exactly. Because in our mind, if the ball touches the rim, even if it go in, it don't count.
Yeah.
That's,
and it had that good spin on it.
That's right. That's right. Now, let me ask you this. So let me ask you this. So what do you think about, like a lot of these players, and I think a lot of this, and me and Bert, I mean, we talked about this, the transfer portal. You know how players are moving around, and I think I'm just concerned about the messages that it's sending, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if the coach not good, I'm a transfer. If I don't like the players, I'm a transfer. I don't like the situation, I'm a transfer. I don't get minutes, I'm a transfer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, what do you think about that? I mean, and I got my own, personal take on that. What do you think about the transfer portal?
I feel like before the rule was where you could like go to a school and automatically play right away, you had to sit out a year at one point. So I feel like a lot of players, they didn't want to go through sitting out a year, like missing a year of basketball and then having to be on the scout team, whatever, red shirt, and then come back. I feel like now that players know that they can play right away, they're able to make that. It's easier to make that decision, and I feel like it probably has a lot to do with coaching, with the team, the program itself, just not being the right fit. Like sometimes you go to a school and it turns out to be the way that you didn't expect it to be.
Right.
And you didn't find out until later. So I feel like it's okay to like find what fits you. But at the same time, sometimes it takes growth to be at a program. Sometimes it's better to stay just so, you're already familiar with the system, you're already familiar with the coaches, you're familiar with what they do, so it's all about, elevating your game. But some players want to leave for other reasons, but it's very situational.
Yeah.
Everybody's situation is different. There's a lot of things that probably happen that aren't exposed to the media that people transfer for, so you really never know. But I feel like sometimes players, it's already hard enough transferring. Like I transferred and it was a hassle, but I mean, I feel like if the reason is good enough, like you're willing to do whatever it takes to,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the other side of that, though. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to say names because I love everybody, but what's the time frame? What's the time frame where the coaches can contact you to transfer to another school?
If I remember correctly, as soon as you enter the portal, there's a space where you press you wish to be contacted or you don't want to be contacted. And then I selected I wanted to be contacted so I could see which coaches were interested in me. So as soon as compliance, all the paperwork went through, I had calls like that same day.
No, I mean when the season is over.
Oh.
Like when is that? What's the first day?
Ooh, that's a great question.
The reason I asked because Coach Yo, I love Coach Yo. Coach Yo had 2 transfers, I want to say like the day after the NCAA tournament. So I'm just wondering, like, you didn't just talk to them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So them conversations had been going on before that. So.
Yeah, I mean, part of coaching is doing stuff on the back end as well. Like, you have to be able to coach your team through the tournament, like, handle that, but also, like, focus on the future and, like, what next year's team is going to look like in the years after that. So it's a non-stop job. You have to pay attention to the portal because new players enter every day, and you don't want to be so caught up in focus on the tournament for that year when you can be focusing on like who you want to bring in for the years after that. Because I entered the portal while the tournament was still going on. So Louisville was still playing the Sweet 16 Elite 8 Final Four, but they contacted me during the tournament. So I was able to, speak to them and stuff, wish them good luck and things like that. But they're always looking to, build on.
Oh wait, so they can contact you before the season's over?
Yeah, if you press. No, it was during the season. It was during the tournament.
Okay, so that's
my season was over with.
Got you.
Yeah,
okay.
we had lost in the first round, so we were done.
So if your season over.
Yeah.
Okay, but the whole season don't have to be over before they can contact you.
No. Whenever you're in the portal, they can contact you whenever, as long as you say you want to be contacted.
Okay, because Kennedy Ty Williams, like,
yeah,
I can't believe she left Carolina, but yeah, she's going to Ole Miss.
Yeah, players can enter the portal during the season whenever they want to.
Oh dang, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what really my biggest concern with it. I mean, to each his own. Don't everybody doing what they think they need to do. But my biggest concern for people like myself, who's on the development side and really trying to help players and kids, not just as basketball players, but as people, right? what are the messages that we send them? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It makes my job and people who think the way I think, like it's bigger than basketball, it makes it more difficult because now we're trying to tell these kids about being loyal.
Definitely.
You know, being loyal, okay, stick with it, fight through it, and fight through adversity, right? So what are the messages that we're sending? So that's my biggest concern.
Yeah.
What is it going to do long term? Now, that's a short term, but long term for the league on both sides, male and female, I think it's going to come back and bite us because it's the messages that we're sending.
Yeah, I agree.
So you know, that's my biggest concern.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Well, for me, when I decided to leave Florida State, I had completed all 4 years. So I pretty much like got my degree, did my regular 4 years, and for my 5th year, I wanted to try something different.
Right.
But I had committed like my loyalty like for the 4 years that I was there. But I do feel like that it could send off the message to some players like, oh, if you want to transfer, like it's easy. But it's like loyalty is important, and like I said, it's situational. But I do see the aspect of, you know, kids saying that, oh, if I don't like this, I can just quit and go somewhere else. But I definitely I definitely agree on that.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you this too, real quick. In terms of like you played at Louisville, in terms like you're going to get different types of coaches with different styles.
Yeah.
Their energy might be different, and you might not agree with it.
Yeah.
So to our young players, as well as all players, what would you say to them when you get a coach? Well, maybe you don't like him. How does you don't like him, or you don't like the philosophy, or how they communicate with you? What would you say to players in general, especially our young ones? How do you continue to focus? Because great players want to be coached. How do you to stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish and continue to listen to get better?
Yeah, well, I feel like one thing you have to do is have a good circle around you with positive people. I feel like sometimes if you're being negative and you have negative friends, they'll tell you, oh, yeah, you're right, like, he's doing this and that, but he or she's doing this and that. But I feel like positive people will tell you to, you know, like have a conversation, like see like where y'all can find some balance between the two and see what he really means, like he or she really means, like by what they say. And I feel like communication is important. Sometimes it's okay to say, I don't like the way like you talk to me when you say this, like this or that. But like I feel like when you're at a school, you're still trying to get to know each other. Like the coaches try to get to learn the players, but at the same time, the players trying to get to learn the coaches. So I feel like there has to be some way that can happen, whether it's communication or whatever it may look like. But you have to be open to being coached differently because, you know, when you get to the next level, sometimes you can't choose your coach. Like you can't just go to a new school. You can't just transfer like that. So I feel like you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to have hard conversations. And you have to be able to understand people, but you have to get them to understand you as well.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to hear from you.
Yeah.
So now, you know, when I watch the male basketball and then I watch the female basketball, you guys now, female basketball is really on the rise.
Yeah,
I think this whole NCAA, the Final Four, with Angel and Caitlin and you guys, I think it kind of elevated the attention of people around the world. I want to say, what is the disparity? Let's talk about the disparity in pay, right? In the females and the males. Let's talk about that. What's that disparity, man? What do you think about that, man? You know, because people got different opinions about it, but I got my own opinion, so I want to hear yours.
Well, a lot of people say that, you know, men bring in more money because obviously they bring in more fans, more revenue, all that stuff. More people attend their games, things like that. But I feel like the women's side could be marketed a lot better. And I feel like they're at the same level of professionalism as the men's side, if not better. So I feel like there should definitely be some changes with that. I know, like with soccer, I think they finally made it a way to, you know, for women to get paid the same. So I feel like that's important because they were doing better than the men's soccer team.
Yes.
But yeah, but I just feel like I definitely feel like it's on the rise, slowly but surely. But I feel like more people are starting to notice, which is crazy. It took this long.
Right.
But you know, you got to start somewhere. And I feel like the NCAA tournament, it drew a lot of fans. Like I know for our game, we had 4 million viewers?
9.9 million.
9.9. Wow, I was way off. But
yes,
all those. So I feel like and that's like a record. So I feel like it's definitely like on the come up, and I definitely feel like people are starting to pay more attention because there's good players like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark that you know are like I said, generational.
Yes.
And I feel like it's at the next level. It's going to be even crazier once they get there.
I agree, and I think, and I agree with you. I think it's definitely on the rise, and I think the NCAA with Caitlin, her style of play is so appealing to people, for people to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
And so people now, they're going to be more engaged because they're going to be looking for that next one.
Yeah.
And I just think that, you know, that really, really helped women basketball this year. And so that I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. But I'm also looking forward to you guys, the girls getting paid more because it's so deserving. For myself, when I want to watch a really good basketball game, I tune into a good women's game.
Yeah.
Because I'm a development guy. You know, I like technique, and when I see players playing the right way, whether it's males or females, you know, I get a joy from that. And mostly, 99% of the times, when I turn on that TV, when I'm watching girls, real good girl basketball,
it's more fun.
It's more fun because they're playing the game the right way, inside out, pass, cut, screen. You know, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. Because basketball is a team sport, and because the girls is not as athletic, guys using athleticism, but girls are getting more athletic now. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got girls dunking the ball, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm close, but I don't know, these knees can't do it.
Yeah. So let's talk about Angel Reese, man, the celebration. Let's talk about that, man.
Oh yeah, she backs up everything she does. I mean, sometimes players say that, oh, she's too cocky, but I feel like she backs it up by the way she plays, the way she wins, like her energy, like her teammates love her, and she's just that player that, you know, everyone want to play with.
Wow. And
I'm glad I got you here because you're the best person to talk about this situation. So the way they acted towards Angel Reese, one of your teammates don't get that same blowback. Haley Van Lith is one of the most dynamic players in the game as well, you know, just like Caitlin. And Haley's in your face, she's talking trash. Like, I mean, what do you feel about that, like the comparison, you know, between Angel versus Haley and Caitlin?
I feel like trash talk is just part of the game. Like you said, if you dish it out, you got to be able to receive it too. And I feel like there's definitely some people probably look at Angel differently because she's black, obviously.
Sure.
But you know, at the end of the day, like, I feel like we're all hoopers, and you know, we're all gonna do the same stuff. But there's that goes into a deeper issue, definitely within, not just within basketball, but just in life in general. Like, where black women are seen as, you know, the aggressor. You know, it comes off as like nasty and stuff, and when somebody else does it, like, it's not as bad. But I just feel like at the end of the day, like, if this situation didn't tell anybody else anything, it's that it doesn't matter what color you are. Like, the game is still played the same no matter what color you are. So
true that.
Absolutely. But when I watched that whole thing with Angel when she did the whole thing, right? See, what happens is there's a fine line between confident and arrogance.
Yeah.
So if you don't really know the person and know what they're about,
you
could assume that they're arrogant. And then, you know, no matter where we go, you're going to experience like racism. People are going to be biased and racist in some form or some manner, whether they say it is directly or indirectly. But I just think that whole thing got blown out of proportion.
I think so too.
Yeah, because, you know, just as a basketball player, being a professional basketball player myself, I used to love when people talk trash to me. I didn't talk back. Me
neither.
But I killed them. I killed them with silence. I just bust their head. You know what I mean? But some players, they're gonna go back and forth with that. Get players going. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the game. You know, to talk you off your game. And I just think the media just blew that all out of proportion, man. All out of proportion, right? So
I feel like the media, like throughout the whole tournament, the media was so like, since women's basketball was getting so much attention, they found every little thing that they could find to like, you know, blow up. Even if it was like good or bad, like they said, okay, women's basketball, y'all want attention, here y'all go. Like, and it's just like every little thing blew up. Like, I feel like if this was any other year and she did that, it probably wouldn't have been as big. But I feel like because of who it was and because of all the attention that women were getting through our tournament, they just blew up everything.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. So now, let's talk about opportunities, man. So now you graduated. You already graduated.
Well, I'm about to graduate. I got to do one internship and then I'll be done. So probably the end of the summer, I should be done.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, in advance. So what opportunities are you looking at? And then tell me, I know you want to continue to play. And what is your process in becoming a professional basketball player?
So right now, I'm waiting to see if I get a WNBA training camp contract, try out for a team. So if that happens, great. If not, no worries. I'm gonna, continue training, getting ready for to play overseas.
It's gonna happen.
It is.
Let's put it in the air.
It is.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I just gotta be. I'm just ready for whenever my name is called. My name can be called at any point during the season.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. And I just feel like, I'm just grateful for the experience, and I'm just excited to see what God has planned for me. May not know what it is, but I know it's going to be great, so I'm never really worried. So my internship is with, I want to work in sport marketing. Like after I'm done with playing basketball, I definitely want to go on that side. So one of the internships I'm doing is with a company, black-owned business, actually. So we're working with this semi-pro Louisville men's basketball team. We're helping with their marketing strategies and things like that. So I'm excited for that. Good. So I have that in the bag. So I'm just ready to start that whenever. So I have plans. So.
Got it. That's awesome. And what do you have? What have you heard about playing professionally in Europe?
Well, they make a lot of money. I know that. But
start right there.
I'm just excited to play at the pro level. I mean, obviously, it takes a lot of hard work, but it's different in more of a way that you can kind of be yourself.
Right.
It's all skill, fundamentals, all that stuff, and you kind of play free, kind of. And I'm just excited to have that experience, meet new people, travel new places, and just continue my love for the game.
Tell you, it's true, man. It's nothing like when you're playing professional basketball, having the opportunity to do it for so long. It's almost like it's a freedom that you get, where you just hoop, but you got to be successful, and you got to do what it takes. Mm-hmm. And over there, you got to play to win.
Yeah.
So even if you average 10, 12 points, your team winning, you're gonna get your check.
Yeah.
You follow me? But if you average it 30, your team losing, they're looking for another merit.
Yep.
So just know that, because you got to go over there with, okay, I got to adapt to them. Mm-hmm. If that's the opportunity or the road that you choose, you go there. I got to adapt to the culture. Don't go with the attitude. They have to adapt to me. And I think not only you have a better opportunity to play and people will like you, but in terms of longevity, teams are going to always want to hire you, because now you have that reputation. And that's one thing that I can always say. I left a good reputation all across Europe. And when you leave that, you can always go back to it. That's why they send players from all over the world, and I continue to work.
That's good to know, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. What is the difference in today's game, and then even when you was in high school, what do you see at all levels? What is the difference that you see as opposed to 8, 9, 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just feel like everything is more publicized, on social media.
Yeah.
I see a lot of kids in high school recording their mixtapes and stuff, and the first minute be them walking through the crowd, doing intros and stuff, and not even playing basketball. So I feel like social media has changed a lot, but I feel like it has made it better. I mean, it focuses more on people that probably didn't have a platform at one point. I feel like it's more televised. I feel like more people pay attention, but I feel like more people want to be on that level. So I feel like a lot of people want that limelight and that spotlight, so they work extra hard so they can get to that point. But I feel like a lot of players, I don't know. I just feel like people watch the game more now that there's players that they recognize, players at their own age. But like I said, social media definitely puts these players on a higher pedestal. So younger ones want to say, "Oh, I want to be like him or her," but I'm gonna keep watching her and stuff like that. So I feel like they're more in tune with that.
Well, speaking of that, social media, and I want you to speak to the up and coming ambition players. Mm-hmm. How important it is to make sure you got the right stuff on your social media.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the season, I try to stay off of it because I know that, if you have a bad game, obviously people are going to say bad things. If you have a good game, they'll tell you everything you want to hear. Your head might get too big. But I feel like it's important to, just stay calm, stay true to yourself, and have things on there that are positive. You don't need negativity because it can really throw off your game, throw off your confidence, all that. So I feel like you just have to pick and choose what you want to, take in. But I feel like it's best for me. I just stay off of it during the season. Right.
Well, see, that's at that level, and that's good. But at the lower level, kids that are trying to get to that level, make sure, right, you don't put crazy stuff on your social media.
It follows you.
They see everything. Mm-hmm. So everything you want to put on your social media should be positive and it should complement what you're trying to accomplish, right? On a positive note. Just keep that in mind because they watching everything, all right? That's for your young people.
Yeah.
And so,
For sure.
yeah, absolutely. So now let me ask you, so after basketball, it's all done. It's all done. We don't know how long that's going to go, 15, 20 years. It could be, you probably don't
Man,
think
I don't
that
know if
long.
my knees can last that long.
You keep icing them. You
I
keep
probably
doing-
got another good, maybe 10 of them, hopefully, fingers crossed.
So what would you want to do? Do you think you want to stay into basketball? Do you think you want to coach? What? Because you really love the game. Now, nobody can never tell me because I had a chance to work with you. When you came in the gym,
I love the game for sure.
Yes.
But I kind of just want to, you know, I see women's basketball, especially like going up to here.
Yes.
And I feel like it's on the rise, and I want to be a part of that. Like I said, I want to work on the sport marketing aspect of things, whether it's with the team, with the big company, sports company, whatever it is, like whatever it may look like. I just want to help like build people's brands, build companies' brands, like help them with all that. And I feel like it's important because I feel like growing up, the women's basketball marketing wasn't as good as it is now, and I feel like it's gotten way better. And I feel like there's a lot more that needs to be done, you know, to give women the attention that they deserve, that they need, and I feel like I want to be a part of that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Morgan, don't underestimate yourself, sweetheart, because I'm gonna tell you something. You are a brand. You know, you're a brand of yourself, and I think that, you know, put some emphasis on branding your brand. You know what I mean? Like, you know, next time you come here, I want to see
A Morgan Jones t-shirt?
Yeah, a Morgan Jones t-shirt.
I got one, actually.
Create your little logo. You know, brand your own
sure.
brand. You know, think entrepreneurship. Think about, you know, this is, okay, I get here, I get this, but at the back of your mind, start really thinking about entrepreneurship because a lot of times that's really the way that you're really going to get ahead, and no matter what you want to do. And that's what we're preaching to our young people. Would you coach though? Would you coach, you think, one day?
The only thing that throws me off about coaching is the recruiting part. Like coaching is fun, but you gotta like recruit players, make calls, all that stuff, fly out all the time, barely get to see your family.
Right.
Like that's a lot. But I would consider it definitely down the line, just because I want to give back, you know, and share my experience and hopefully help somebody. So I wouldn't knock it.
Right. And I know especially it's further down the line. So do you looking to have a family one day? Or what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Husband and kids.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, but eventually that's way down the line though.
That's all right. But I tell you, this has been an amazing conversation. I really appreciate you. I think the information that you have given a lot of our audience is going to be very helpful. And Morgan, hey man, keep up the good work, girl.
I will, for sure.
And you know I'm always here, girl. Give me a hug, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. And until next time, we out, man. Thank you.
Bye.